Hi everybody, this is Dr. Steve Rios with the Florida Department of Children and Families Positive Pathways Program. The Positive Pathways Program is a statewide association of campus and community-based professionals who work together and individually to help young people from foster care succeed in college and graduate. So stay tuned for the Positive Pathways Program onboarding presentation.
Hi, I'm Brett McNutt, CEO of Educate Tomorrow. We're at my house in El Portal. I look forward to explaining more about what we're doing at Educate Tomorrow. So I joined Educate Tomorrow as CEO in 2012, and my vision was really making sure that we can connect young people to the opportunities that they need to reach their full potential. And what I saw was working and living in Miami, there's so many resources that are already available to young people that it's just really difficult for them to understand how to connect to them or that they even exist without mentorship, without coaching, and without the deliberate connection to these things. So the first major example of this is the free college tuition that youth coming from foster care or homeless situations qualify for with the state of Florida. And at the time, going back to 2012, there were just about 2,000 students who were utilizing this free college tuition at the state level. Now, fast forward to now, that number has grown dramatically to 5,700 students this semester utilizing just the Department of Children and Families tuition exemption for former foster adopted youth. That's a phenomenal increase. While we've seen at the same time college enrollment rates in the state of Florida going down because of this great economy, the number of former foster youth accessing college for free has dramatically increased. Why is that? I think because we, as Educate Tomorrow and many, many other organizations across the state, have really been conscious about coming together and doing this work in collaboration with each other. One example would be the Positive Pathways contract that the Department of Children and Families awarded Educate Tomorrow back in 2017. What we do through Positive Pathways is create an informed and empathetic and engaged group of stakeholders on college and university campuses and in the communities all across the state of Florida to make sure that youth who would qualify for this free college tuition are able to become college ready, because that's important. You can't succeed in college if you're not academically ready for it. But also getting all of those other aspects of your life stable enough to where you can take advantage of succeeding in the classroom. What is that? You're looking at housing, you're looking at your emotional and social well-being, making sure that you have the independent life skills in order to be able to live independently, that you're able to have the social, emotional skills to be able to get a job or get a work study or an internship, and that you're building this level of skill set to where when you do get that diploma and graduate from college, that you have all those other aspects of your resume built out to where you can get a good, stable job and ultimately break the cycles of poverty, of abuse, abandonment, neglect, trauma, any of those things that happened in your life. So many states, 27 states, have tuition exemptions or waivers for former foster youth. Of those 27, Florida leads the way and by far. I said we have 5,700 students this semester utilizing the tuition exemptions in Florida colleges and universities. There was a report that came out in 2019 that stated that Texas followed that the second state in the country with 3,200 students utilizing the tuition exemption. Then the third largest state in the country with tuition exemptions was Connecticut with just under 600. So think about 5,700 students from foster care are now in college in Florida, 3,300 in Texas, 600 in Connecticut, and below that, the numbers are very, very small.
My name is Kathy McDonald. I'm the Assistant Director for Network Partnerships with the Florida College Access Network. And for those who aren't familiar with FCAN, our vision is to build a Florida where education is the pathway to economic mobility for all. My role there is to lead the network of community coalitions that bring together leaders from higher education, school districts, business, philanthropy, nonprofit, and local governments to uncover the barriers and work together to dissolve those barriers so students can succeed. These coalitions leverage the strengths of all of those partners that are at the table.
Great. And what is your role relative to the Positive Pathways Network?
Mhm. FCAN's been partnered with Positive Pathways since its inception. And the reason for that is our work is so highly aligned. We believe that students who have spent time in foster care should have the same opportunities as their peers to attend and thrive in college so that they can prepare for the workplace and build economic stability. Our work is to focus on helping students who are traditionally underrepresented in a higher education not only get into college, but have the supports they need to be successful once they're there. So we often focus on students who are the first in their families to attend college, students who maybe come from low income households or students of color are the ones that we put our resources towards helping them succeed in college.
What are some of the ways that you have personally been involved with the Positive Pathways Network, and what are some of your impressions of those interactions, those
Mhm,
events?
mhm. One of the things that I really value about the Positive Pathways Network is it's such a critical resource to provide peer-to-peer learning for those that coordinate campus supports for students, which helps them bring their promising practices that they learn through that network back to their own campuses so that they can help more students succeed. I learn something every time I participate in a Positive Pathways call or in an offsite, and it's valuable networking in terms of connecting our network, particularly our local college access networks, with members of the Positive Pathways Network so that we can support each other's work.
Hello, I'm Patrick White with the Lawrence E. White Family Foundation and the AOK Scholars Program. The Lawrence E. White Family Foundation was started with the mission of supporting those most likely to succeed if helped. The AOK Scholars Program was started in 2013 to support former foster youth who are pursuing a post-secondary education. The AOK Scholars Program currently serves approximately 400 students. About half of those students are served also by Educate Tomorrow in the South Florida region for a lot of the coaching and teachable moments. The other half are served by AOK specialists on staff, primarily here in Orlando, Florida. Once they've worked through that process together, the specialist and the scholar speak at least once a month to coordinate any benefit that the scholar might need. While we acknowledge that a degree is not a guarantee of success in life, financially or otherwise, it is certainly a differentiator and one that we fully support in this student population. We've had a number of graduates and celebrate each and every one of those successes. It's not an easy road for a student who has gone through the foster care system or is experiencing homelessness to achieve a post-secondary degree, but these have done it, which is great. Once their tuition's been satisfied, we help support removing some barriers to their education. That could be basic necessities, it could be educational needs, Sometimes it's an emergency that comes up that affects their transportation, housing, or food. The work with Positive Pathways is very important for AOK because we recognize that AOK cannot be the sole support for a scholar during college. They need the support of other networks, either on campus or near campus, for them to support their educational journey. So each of our scholars will experience AOK differently. Some have very low needs, some have very high needs. But we really want to be there as a safety net underneath the unexpected barriers that arise during their journey through the educational process. The AOK Scholars Program is an application program and it is selective. We encourage you to encourage your students to apply in the spring for the fall enrollment period so that we can achieve our goal of growing our enrollment from 400 students up to 1,000 students and really move the graduation rate for this group of scholars in the state of Florida.
It's a pleasure to have you guys join us. Welcome to the Positive Pathways Network. As Dr. Rios mentioned, I am Raquel Perry. Everyone calls me Rocky. Please feel free to call me Rocky as well. I am a former student of Educate Tomorrow, former foster child. I aged out at 18. I went away for college, but it was through the support of Educate Tomorrow and finding me connections to someone in Tallahassee to serve as a mentor, and the initiatives that I took with the people on my campus to share my story with them, to give them an idea of what other students in foster care are going through. And essentially I was able to build a network. And so I think Positive Pathways replicates that in many, many ways. And just people just like you. So grateful to have you here. And I'll go through this new member orientation to give you an idea of other supports and services that are available to young people that are aging out of foster care and looking to embark on the next part of their life. So some of the highlights of the Positive Pathways Network, it was created in 2015, and it is funded by the Department of Children and Families in response to a Florida law that requires collaboration between the Department of Children and Families and the Florida Department of Education. There has since been a dramatic increase in the number of students from foster care that use the DCF tuition and fee exemption, which I'll discuss a little more later. The Positive Pathways Network is a unique state-level program aimed at increasing post-secondary educational success among college students who have lived in foster care in Florida. It is administered by Educate Tomorrow, which is a statewide nonprofit organization that is based out of Miami, Florida. And the Positive Pathways Network maintains and expands a network of members, and it began as the Florida Reach, which was a volunteer statewide initiative. So these are the number of students who have been and are currently using the DCF tuition fee exemption, starting with the school year 2015-2016 up until 2018-2019. And as you can see from yourself at all levels, more and more students are continuing to use the DCF exemption as they're learning more about the exemption. So here are some key data points. The tuition and fee exemption use shows steady long-term growth. Each year, approximately 1,000 young adults turn 18 while in foster care in Florida, and there are students from which Positive Pathways draws its key target population. About 33% of students are still in high school at age 18. There are 108% increase in number of Florida State University system students using the tuition exemption since 2015. There has been a 38% increase in the number of students using the tuition and fee exemption since 2015. And these students are served by foster care liaisons who may be associated with the Positive Pathways Network. The tuition waiver is the basis of our work. The state of Florida provides tuition and fee exemption to eligible students through the age of 28. The waiver is authorized at state public universities, public colleges, and technical colleges. The fee exemption may be available to students who are or were in the custody of the Department of Children and Families when they reach the age of 18, who were adopted from the Department of Children and Families at any point after May 5th, 1997, who was or at the time of reaching age 18 in the custody of a relative, or who was at the time of reaching 18 in the custody of a non-relative, or was placed in a guardianship by the court after spending at least 6 months in the custody of the department after reaching 16 years of age. So in a legal context, the Florida legislature mandated in 2014 that the Department of Children and Families collaborate with the Board of Governors, the Florida College System, and the Florida Department of Education to help eligible youth transition to and through post-secondary educational settings. Chapter 409.1452 specifically addresses the need for a comprehensive support structure in the academic arena to assist young adults who have been or remain in the foster care system. So the educational campus coaching positions that we've spoken of and that Dr. Rios highlighted earlier, specifically at St. Petersburg College, that came from a 2014 legislation that said that the state university system of Florida and the college systems shall provide post-secondary educational campus coaching positions that will be integrated into Florida's college system institutions and university institutions to provide general support services structures to current and former foster care children and young adults with dedicated on-campus support. And this resulted in foster care liaisons and coaches being appointed. All 28 colleges and 12 universities have a designated person, and 7 colleges and universities have dedicated staff person. So the Positive Pathways have many areas of focus, which includes providing services to its members, such as communication channels, training and networking opportunities, technical advice and guidance to members, research, data analysis, recommendations related to outcome measures, services, and processes. There are other ongoing activities. There are member recruitment orientation, identification of colleges and universities for potential full-time positions. There's an annual conference, and student referrals and guidance. Oh, I skipped one. And we have collaboration and services through regional points of contacts. Here are some membership expectations. There's an expectation that we'll help students with enrollment, the financial aid application, and exploration of career opportunities. We'll connect students with academic resources, scholarship opportunities, community resources and supports, notify key campus leaders such as student services, financial aid, the registrars, and their designated person to help them process their tuition and fee exemption, participate in monthly program and conference calls, update the network to changes at the institutions, voice opinions and concerns on matters of importance, and provide current contact information to Positive Pathway program leaders. A little bit about Educate Tomorrow. We were founded in 2003 as a mentoring organization exclusively for students using the DCF tuition and fee exemption. We serve current and former foster youth, homeless youth, and other vulnerable transitioning young adults by striving to make higher education an attainable goal for all. We also provide multi-year goal-oriented academic and career coaching, intensive skill building workshops, and enrichment activities. And we began administering the Positive Pathways program in 2016. As you can see, my favorite, our CEO, Mr. Brett McNaught, is the Positive Pathways program supervisor. Dr. Steve Rios is the senior director of the Positive Pathways, and that shining face at the bottom is me. And I'm a program associate with the Positive Pathways program. So these are some of our key partners, the Florida College Access Network, the Florida Guardian Ad Litem program, the community-based care agencies all throughout the state of Florida, the Helios Education Foundation, the AOK Scholars Lawrence E. White Family Foundation. I mentioned earlier that we have regional points of contact. These are our regional points of contacts all throughout the state of Florida. They align perfectly with the DCF circuit map. And this is two slides. So we mentioned the on-campus supports and dedicated college coaches. And we have 8 programs now with St. Petersburg College. I believe Miami-Dade College Miami-Dade College is my personal favorite because that's the genesis, but that I got to see develop. But all of our programs are amazing. And the great thing about it is if you're sending a child from Miami to Tallahassee, we have someone in Tallahassee that is a part of the network, and we know that they'll be going away to safe hands. So there's a program at Miami-Dade College, Tallahassee Community College, St. Petersburg College, Florida Atlantic University, Florida International University, Florida State University, the University of Central Florida, and the University of Florida. These are newly developed and strengthened initiatives at Broward College, Daytona State College, Florida Gulf Coast University, Florida State College at Jacksonville, and the University of North Florida. Some members' benefits from being a part of the Positive Pathways Network include guidance, training, and technical assistance, a monthly network call, which we participated in today, every first Wednesday of the month, an annual conference. Because of COVID-19, we held our first online conference in May 2020. More than 150 people from Florida and at least 6 other states attended. It was our highest turnout yet. All content is on our website. We'll also have a searchable directory of liaisons, a Facebook group, www.facebook.com/groups/Florida Reach. We have a newsletter and a website filled with resources and tools. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Positive Pathways has always been an opportunity for me to connect with others who are also passionate about this work, to learn about barriers or opportunities or legislation that may benefit and support our students, so that I can make sure that I'm providing them with the utmost information and knowledge to help them navigate through their college experience. I would say with the Positive Pathways Network, it's so inclusive and it's so open for all different levels of professionals, whether you are new or someone who's been doing this for 10 or 20 years. I can say definitely, I remember my first Positive Pathways call and I did feel nervous. I just received this designation. I was just learning about the different legislation about DCF waivers and homeless waivers. And as nervous as I was, I reframed this and looked at this as an opportunity to learn. And I found, from my first connection with people who already had established programs, I think everyone in this network really embraces you with open arms, as far as like, if you have a question, if you're not sure about something, if you need clarification on something. I was never met with any, just like, oh, you should know that. But everyone was very just open and very inclusive. And I think that with this network, the power is that we're always learning, and everyone was new at one point or time. So it's really just showing up and trying to figure out, where you feel like you can most benefit from getting this information. And yeah, I think everyone's just really open with also helping too, because I think what I found is, even for programs who maybe have had established programs for, they have funded programs for years, even those people were open to have conversations about how they started or best practices, and that really helps. I think everyone in this network is here to help not only their students, but other people across the state, because all of our students, regardless of where they attend, need that assistance.
So so what you're sharing is something that a lot of young people have faced. Changing majors. A lot of times they change majors, and often when you change majors, it delays your graduation, and by being delayed, you get discouraged. And so
I should have graduated like 2 years ago. Like, I was supposed to finish my bachelor's in almost a year, maybe a year and a half. But because I changed majors in between, I added a whole extra half year. And then when I went to USF, I started political science. I was supposed to graduate the same year that same school year that I got there. But because I changed majors in between, I added a whole extra year.
I was a political science major, and I was about to change, and they said, it's going to add another year. And I immediately said, no, never mind. I'll just push through and get my degree.
Oh no, I think that major caused me so much distress.
What major? Political science?
Yes, political science.
Wow.
I think out of all the majors I went through, that one caused me the most distress.
All the majors you went through? How many majors did you go through?
4. I was a sign language major at first, but then I kept the campus was too far from Casa Valentina, and all the classes were offered at night, and I kept getting harassed on the bus on the nighttime route going back home. So I was like, what? I'm not doing this. Like, I don't want to get harassed. I can do sign language somewhere else. And then I got into USF, and I was like, cool, I'll do sign language there. I did not. Also, I changed my major at MDC to early childhood education, and I finished my degree in that. And then, which is why I probably looked more like enticing on my resume for the teaching job. And then after that, I went to USF as an early childhood education major, changed it to a poli-sci major, was a poli-sci major for a year. And then I got to comparative politics in that class. That is the class that made me have multiple breakdowns within a semester. And after that class,
you're serious, right? I mean, you're serious about that. You're not just saying multiple breakdowns.
Oh, no, I am serious. I cried and a lot to Paoli about it. And it wasn't until I finally got to a breaking point where I was just really stressed, really depressed, and just outright failing all of my classes, even though I could pass them. I really could have. I was like, this is my breaking point. I don't have the support that I feel that I need. I don't understand the material. I don't know how to properly even study for this because I don't even understand what I'm reading. And I realize now that maybe that major would have been bearable because I have a deep interest in that major. I actually really enjoyed the material.
If you're interested in helping the young people on your campus that come from foster care or homeless settings, you've got to be a part of the Positive Pathways program.